Hello there, thought I'd do a little video on this unusual lens. It's a PC-Nikkor 28mm f3.5. PC stands for perspective control. This is quite an old lens. I believe it is usable on more modern digital cameras, but I'm using this on my old Nikon f3. Okay, so we'll just go through a few of the features on this. Closest focus is around about a foot. Smallest aperture is f22, and the barrel rotates through 360 degrees, and the maximum deflection for perspective control is 11mm, depending on where the actual lens is positioned. Now if we go from the back of the lens to the front, I'll just explain. By the way, I should say that there's 3 white dots. You need all those lined up to make it easier for you to mount the lens on the camera, because otherwise the bayonet lugs are out of position. I mean, you can mount it, but it's just easier to do it that way. That's the way I do it. So you've got 3 there, 2 there, just line them all up and it just goes on as per normal. Now the numbers there relate to the maximum deflection that you can set on the camera, on the lens, when you're using it to control perspective. So at the moment it's set at 8. So if you turn the little wheel on the side, the maximum that you can actually deflect that is 8mm, which is shown on that little scale there. Now, as it's a perspective control lens, mostly it'll probably you'd be using it for architectural photographs to avoid converging verticals. You can also use it to almost shoot round corners if you're in a position where you can't move any further to one side. You can actually move the lens slightly, and it will give you a marginally better view around a building or right past a tree, or maybe something like that. But if you're using it for buildings, you need the little thumb screw there turned thus, so you then have 11mm of deflection, so you can move that little thumb screw pretty much all the way, and that gives you the height adjustment so that you don't get converging verticals if you're shooting buildings. You can also obviously put it at the top, turn it down, and then you can use that to make converging verticals even more pronounced should you wish to. Now, there is one thing that I'll mention with this lens. If you're using it to shoot buildings, to avoid converging verticals, as you get to, I think it's something like 4 to 5mm, you'll see miraculously appear in the viewfinder a black rectangle at the bottom of the picture. Now that's nothing to worry about. I was thinking, what is that? And then if I just remove the lens, whoops, hang on, doing what I told you not to do, set that right. You have to actually grab that little barrel at the back. If you look at the, I don't know if you can actually see that, there you go, on the top of the mirror, right in the middle, there's a black lug. Now that starts to appear at the bottom of the picture when you start going past about 4mm of deflection on that lens. So just be aware of that. It's nothing to worry about. It's just that lug appears in the picture. Mount that back on the camera. Now this is pretty much standard Nikon lens technology. So you've got the focusing ring there. It is a little difficult to get to because of the front of the lens jutting out there. There is a reason why that's there. If you look at a standard Nikkor lens, you'll notice that the aperture ring has moved from the back to the front, Now there is a reason for that. It's obvious because all of this ability to turn the lens, they couldn't physically fit it in, so there was, well, I'll just describe how that works. So there's your closest focus, which is about a foot. Pretty much standard aperture scale there. For your depth of field, corresponds to 8, 16, 22. So we've got yellow, blue and orange, and you've got yellow, blue, orange. So that gives you your depth of field. Now there's actually 2 rings on this lens because it's a stop down aperture. If I'm take it off the camera yet again, just move that aside. To work this, you pull in the front lens ring, so I'll turn it all the way around to 22, and that's wide open, and that's your stop down ring. Just turn it back, just pull the front one in, and it takes that other ring with it. That's how you take your metering, either manual or aperture priority. You have to shut the lens down, say f8, take your meter reading, f8. So you focus at full aperture, take your meter reading, take your shot. It is quite a nice lens to use actually. The focusing is a little stiff on this. I don't know if this is just this particular lens, but it is slightly stiffer than normal. Aperture rings work perfectly. Used in very, very good condition. All you have to remember is that black lug is nothing to worry about, and to set the maximum deflection depending on the actual number there, so that's 7, 8, and then if that's at the top, 11 up and 11 down, I believe. There's another thing as well, when you are using this lens, say it's upside down, there's another aperture scale which corresponds to the one on, it's technically the top, but it's essentially side, bottom, wherever you want it to go. It's quite light as well, it's not that heavy. The only problem I have had with this is that I can't get a lens hood for it. I've seen a couple on eBay, but as soon as I've gone to buy them, they've already gone, so they are quite difficult to come by. It's a 72mm filter fitting as well, which is quite big. I mean, a normal, what would describe as a normal Nikon lens or a Nikkor lens, usually 52. Like all your 24, 28, 50s up to 105s, they're all like 52mm. So there you go, that's the PC-Nikkor 28mm. Hope that's been of help for you. Bye.